All right, we are live. Hey there, Laker fans. Welcome to another episode of Lakers Detailed. I'm your host, Nate, with my co host, Raj. We are 24 hours, a little less than 24 hours removed from a super collapse in game two of the playoffs. Heartbreaking. That seems a little dramatic. Disappointing, I think, is probably a nice way to describe what happened in that game, in the second half of that game, at least, or last quarter and a half of that game. Really disappointing, just as a fan. But credit to Denver for executing and playing well, and Jamal Murray hitting an incredible shot, incredibly difficult shot over Anthony Davis to basically hit a game winner. Raj, Lakers were in control of that game the entire game up until literally the last shot attempt of the game. That was quite literally it. That's how that game went. And it is what it is. That's just kind of how it works. That's what happens. They've been on the receiving end of that sort of action themselves when we won the bubble championship. So I will go first. And
Okay.
before I go first, let me ask, how are you feeling? 24 hours removed. Where are you at? How are you feeling about everything?
It's so weird because I don't know how this happened, but half my brand is just I go back and watch the game somehow. That's turned into half of I did not touch this game, didn't go near it with a 6 foot pole, stood very far away from it. Uh could not get myself to go and watch that catastrophe of a second half or even the beautiful first half that AD had. So
Yeah.
stayed away from it. I did feel, a lot better. This is, playoff time, which is sometimes brands will hit you up. So
Oh
shout
yeah.
out Homage sent me 2 Laker shirts. It kind of made my day today that came in the mail. So go check them out. I got this one's called Slammin' Jammin' with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And they have a Grateful Dead one as well. So that kind of made my day. But other than that, yeah, this was rough, man. That was not a way to. I used today to kind of stay away from basketball, really.
Yeah.
So I was watching some of the Pacers Bucks and then some of the Mavs Clipper game, but for the most part, stayed away from any Laker content, any Laker pods, any video that would kind of show any clips of the game. I really stayed away from it. Couldn't get myself to do it. But how'd you hold up, man? How'd you hold up
Yeah.
today?
Yeah, so I lost. I didn't sleep well last night, but I also had trouble going to sleep last night. Like yesterday's game was one of those games where, there was too much stuff in my brain at the end of the game, and it was like super duper annoying. Like I was sitting there in bed, and I'm like, all right, let me just go to sleep. Like I got work in the morning, but my mind is like, no, why did they give AD
Hmm.
the ball at the end of the game? Why did LeBron drive? Why did LeBron take the three? Why did he give it to D'Lo? It's just like so many things that were going through my brain, like that. Eventually, my mind did calm down, and I got into the office. And like you, I didn't want to talk to anybody. I was tweeting or stuff like that, and then eventually, I got around to just kind of rewatching that second half. Mainly is what I was looking at in that third quarter. But for the most part, I went into my office at work and I closed my door, and that's usually a sign of don't bother me. Like I don't want to talk to anybody about the game, nothing like that.
Yeah.
And so that was my mood too as well. I think that was the general. I think that was like the general feeling from the fan base. Like this was the second time that the Lakers held a significant lead. Like the first game, I think it was 12 to 15 point lead at one point. And then this game, you have a 20 point lead. I want to say it was 19 points even, like with like a lot of time left, like 19 points. If I remember correctly, AD made a turnaround ISO uh, hook shot on Aaron Gordon, and we were up 19 with about 7 minutes left in the third quarter. And
Yeah.
that's kind of where everything started going bad. Lakers went like 1 for 10 in the third quarter for the rest of that quarter,
Yeah.
and it looked bad. Where do you want to start? I have a lot of different places I want to start, but I mean, obviously, it's going to be in the second half, really. But there was good stuff that got us to a point where we had a huge lead that we should discuss. But where do you want to
Yeah.
start? I'll let you pick first. Where do you want
Yeah.
to go?
I guess let's go in, the chronological order of the game because
Yeah,
it's going to
sure.
be pretty demoralizing to talk about the end. But start with the first half at least.
Yeah,
I love that we punched early and quick. We came in
yeah,
right away. Came out right away with force. I always said you have to beat Denver force with force. And we made 2 adjustments in this game to start that kind of showed like we're not messing around, and started. Number 1 was putting AD on Jokic right away.
Yeah.
So no messing around. AD is going to guard Jokic. And number 2, going at Jokic, right, in a multitude of ways.
Yeah.
I thought we hunted him defensively in a way that was, again, very forceful. Whenever he was guarding AD, he was put in a pick and roll. We made him defend in space. AD was incredible. He was going right through his chest. And I'm a firm believer of, like, if you're a superstar, you have to win your matchup. Like in a one-on-one, you have to force them to draw 2. And they were kind of blitzing LeBron, and AD was getting like some drives to the rim, some hook shots at the basket. I think he made 14 straight shots. He was 14 for 14 or something like that in the first half. But I thought they came out really well. And again, I thought the defensive game plan was good. Austin was on Jamal Murray. We'll get into Austin minutes, I'm sure, a little bit later in the pod, because there's some questions on that. But he was guarding Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray, again, a cold shooting night, really didn't contribute much until the end of the third. And boy, did he contribute in the fourth. But I thought Austin defended him well. D'Lo had his breakout game, 6 threes in the first half. And you're up 15 at halftime. So just a snapshot there. I thought, again, all the process was good. MPJ got some threes. We really kept Aaron Gordon and Jokic off the offensive glass. We were picking on them in the pick and roll in the half court. LeBron was dicing up their defense. We were like spamming actions, which I think us and most people were asking for. We were kind of spamming the LeBron and AD 2-man pick and roll. Yeah. And before we get to Mike Malone adjusting and completely shutting our water off, talk to me about the first half for you, because I thought that was, again, just awesome process. Up 15 at halftime, could have been more, but I thought that was just really good process.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to describe it. I thought they ran really deliberate offense, and you could tell AD was like in a rhythm. Like they just kept feeding him, and it felt like his rhythm was getting better and better, because some of the shots he was taking were, they were difficult, and he had a guy like right on him as you take some of those turnaround hook shots, with Jokic and whatnot. That was a great sign, because that sort of tells you like he's like one of those guys where if you just keep feeding him, and he knocks down 1 or 2 shots, now he believes that he can make every shot, and it just boosts his confidence. The defense is also really good, Raj. Like I thought they played really focused, really locked in. And of course, they had moments where they had lapses and stuff like that. I thought they were really, really locked in defensively and on the offensive end. I liked the formula that they had. I like the fact that they kept Austin Reeves. They didn't panic or anything. They kept Austin Reeves on Jamal Murray, and they said, we're just going to have him chase you guys around. We're going to have AD hedge a little bit so Jamal can't just dribble right into that pull-up jumper. He has to like wait and see if Jokic is going to roll or not. I thought the coverage was great. And we go into the half, I think up 15 or something like that, and that was a great sign. That was also. We talked about it in the previous series, the 2 types of offense that we might get, the one that doesn't involve LeBron in the first half, and then the one that involves a lot of LeBron in the first half, and how it affects our second half. And this game was a game where we got, we didn't have to do too much with, we didn't need Bron to do too much on the offensive end. At least from what I remember, I don't remember us doing too much with him. Maybe some isolation stuff against like their bench units and whatnot. And like I said, dude, I thought it was really good. I don't think Denver was ready for that. I don't think Denver was ready for us to just keep spamming plays to AD like that. I don't think they were ready for AD to be that aggressive too either. Like, they were like, he was open to some degree on some of those mid shot. And dude, he was taking hard shots, which are, I mean, maybe not for him, but that short range area, mid range area, not at the rim. It's huge. Did you see AD fall down very much in the first half? I didn't.
Not really. I think what's huge for him as well, hitting that mid-range jump shot, right? And so they had in the first half, they had Aaron Gordon on LeBron, as they had all game 1 as well. And so I like how we attacked that. We attacked that with, having AD come set the screen for him and kind of space the floor that way. They're one of the few teams, I say this all the time, Denver's one of the few teams that doesn't that screen action. So they have Jokic kind of come at the level of the screen, right? And so they kind of force Jokic, and LeBron's probably the best pocket passer in the league, maybe. And so he hit AD at least 3 or 4 times, and AD's confidence was just oozing off of him, because as every jumper goes down, as every little one-hand floater goes down, when you hoop, Vinay, like every shot that goes in, it just kind of pushes the next shot in and the rim starts looking like the ocean, like AD starts getting a bunch of floaters and stuff like that going. The leaning one-handed floaters go in. We can kind of connect this to the third because I think they're in the same vein. AD, I think, gets 2 and 1s for Nate. Again, I haven't rewatched the game, but I think he gets 2 and 1s to start the third quarter, put us up like 20 or 19. And again, he's feeling really good. And I thought we kind of were spamming him, and AD doesn't even get that many shots at points in the season, but almost like 16 shots for him in like a half almost. No, he was great. He was incredible, and doing that while defending Jokic as well, which again is a thing that like they're doubling here and there. They're switching up their coverage, but that's he's beating Jokic down the floor, right, on running the floor. So like, I don't know. I thought that half was really well executed. And then the second half happens. So,
so yeah, I mean, the first half I thought we got quality stuff from everybody. There was like a point where I think we got stuck. I think when AD went off the floor and we played against that bench unit, that unit didn't really give us much of an advantage. It's the Braun, D'Lo, Jackson Hayes, Torian Prince, and Rui Hachimura. I want to say was the last guy maybe who was on the floor for that group. It might have been Gabe Vincent, not Rui. But that lineup was a little rough because we were just kind of doing ISO ball, going back and forth. But like I said, I think Braun comes off for like 2 minutes. Lakers go on a little bit of run. Braun comes back in, helps the run kind of continue going on, and whatnot. So I thought that was good. The second half happens, Raj. So this probably requires us to break it up a little bit more. The third quarter happens through about 7 minutes of the third quarter, 7.5 minutes of the third quarter. The Lakers go 6 for 9 from the field. They're feeding Anthony Davis. I think Austin Reeves hits a three. Like the ball is moving around. Yeah, ball is moving around. There's a lot of good stuff happening and whatnot. And then the Lakers decide, okay, so the big adjustment happens. That's been the thing that like everybody's been like, oh my God, this is a genius level adjustment that Mike Malone makes. He takes Aaron Gordon, who is the designated Braun stopper for the Denver Nuggets, and they put Aaron Gordon on AD. And he's not playing zone off of AD. He's like face guarding AD. Like an AD standing in the corner for all the possessions after that, Aaron Gordon's like attached to him because they don't want AD to be part of the offense in any capacity. And we get this switch of KCP on Braun. And I'm not saying that specific moment is when it happened, but very clearly our offense took a different style, which was not good. Or not that the offense wasn't good. We didn't make shots out of that style of play. A lot of it was, maybe running pick and roll with Rui. Some of it was maybe Braun trying to back down KCP or get it in the middle of the paint against him. But almost all of it included kick out passes to different people. A couple of plays where like Rui misses the dunk at the rim. AD misses the putback. Another one where Braun drives on Jokic. Looked like he got fouled, but doesn't get the call, misses the layup. That's another thing. And all throughout this, the Denver's kind of chipping away at this lead over and over again. Raj, I think that stretch of basketball from that 7-minute mark in the third to the end of the third, whatever happened, Denver was better on defense. They switched up their matchups. They went to the boxes and elbows defense to basically just crowd the paint as much as possible. Should Braun want to drive? We said this. I mentioned this before we logged on or whatever. Started the stream. I thought that was the most prepared I've seen a team be in recent history for actions that involve LeBron being like the primary ball handler. Like, I think they were ready for anything that he was going to do. And I think that we finished that third quarter going 1 for 10 from the field. And that was bad. What did you think? Tell me what was going through your mind as you're watching it happen.
Yeah, it's funny because like obviously that was the switch that happened. And I don't think it was just about switching Gordon onto AD, and like Denver's super disciplined, right? Like even their second year guys, Christian Braun, when they hug up on LeBron, like they're forcing him a direction, right? So like LeBron Vinay went 4 of 11 in the restricted area. This is a guy that shoots like 85, 90% at the rim, right? 4 for 11 at the restricted area. And what a lot of that is again, LeBron can make some of these layups. These are like contact finishing layups, but like they're shading him one way, and then Jokic is at the rim, right? Like he's standing right there. So what they did was they put Jokic onto Rui. They're basically trying to hide Jokic on somebody so that he's not involved in these screens anymore. And so what the Lakers did was LeBron was going Jokic hunting. And so Jokic moves to Rui, bring up bring up Rui as a screener. And when I tweeted this, this was only one of my few tweets. I think this was at like 2 a.m. when I was questioning what sport I chose.
Your fandom?
Yeah. But Rui's not as dynamic of a screener as AD is. Sure. Forget even if Rui's playing well, and he wasn't. Rui was what 0 for 3, 0 for 4 in this game. So Rui wasn't even playing well. But you combine that with him just not being as dynamic of a role man as well. So we really continued to try to hunt that. And what LeBron decided eventually was, I'm just going to turn the corner and try to get to the rim on these. And like that third quarter just really murdered our offense. And it doesn't help that Austin was kind of cold, I believe, as that third quarter winded down, or if he went to the bench, I don't remember. Vinay, like the bar is so low for some of our guards. Like if Gabe Vincent could just hit one open three, like just one open three. LeBron drives, creates all the contact, throws this beautiful note like pass to the corner on the left side. Gabe Vincent clinks. Spencer Dinwiddie as well. Spencer Dinwiddie, some basketball IQ questions to end the third quarter that I have.
Okay, can I tell you something? I don't mind him attacking early when that defense wasn't set. I just don't understand what happened on that play. Did he get blocked on that play, or did he airball like a finger roll? I couldn't tell what it was that happened on that play.
He thought he would get fouled. And look, I get that, but going one-on-one, I believe it was who's their long defender? I forgot his name. That they have not Peyton Watson, not Christian Brown, the other guy that comes off.
Justin Holiday.
Yes, Justin Holiday. I believe I believe that's who is back. If I'm wrong, then I'm sorry. But I'm sure it was one of their like wingy, rangy defenders who was guarding him. Spencer Dinwiddie thinks he has a lane on him. You're up 7. Vinay, I thought a timeout was coming. LeBron's at the scores table.
Right.
You got to stop. You're up 7. Jokic is on the bench. LeBron's on the bench. Instead, Dinwiddie just decides to take it. And he misses, they go the other way and score, and now your timeout comes, and now it's a 5-point game, which I'm not saying that decided the game, just like I don't think D'Lo's hitting in the face decided the game. These are a few points of like emphasis that you can kind of look back on. A game that's decided by 2 points, every single point seems double as massive, right, when you go back and look. But no, I think the third quarter happened because our offense died, and I always thought Denver would punch back, Vinay, which is why like the third quarter, even as we're discussing it now, it doesn't bother me as much. Like I knew a Denver run was coming. We went up 20. They came out of a timeout. MPJ hit a 3, cut it to 17. I was like, these things are going to happen. I'm not upset. I'm not upset at that, but it's that the process continued into the fourth quarter, which I have issues with. But before we move in there, anything else from the third that you kind of want to kind of hit on or that stuck out to you, I guess?
Yeah. So I want to talk about this change in style because this was Tim Kranjis and Sean, I think for Lakers Nation, Sean, I posted that clip for the folks who are listening, I don't have issues with other Laker fans. Like I respect all the folks, respect the assistant coach guys, or not the coaching guys. And we love Coach's Den, and we love Late Night Lakers, and we love people who send us free stuff. So we love everybody when it comes to this fan base. Not a big deal. But there was a back and forth that we had about this idea of like the freelance offense versus the organized offense. And, the Lakers ran what I would say is a lot of organized offense, even to start the third quarter. Like a lot of, very simple pick and roll, not a ton of misdirection or anything like that. Just very simple pick and roll that ended up resulting in buckets or just good quality shots. And then we kind of went in this direction, maybe because of the Denver adjustment, but we went in this direction where we stopped doing that. So, like from a categorizing data, like Braun isolations or letting Braun be Braun, which is mismatch hunt, find open shooters, that sort of thing, driving kick, that sort of stuff. That's freelance offense. And I think that's how they probably categorize that offense. But the reality is that's a staple. Like we're not going to not do that. Like that is a style of offense that the Lakers play. And we ran side pick and roll with D'Lo and AD. That pass that Rui missed the dunk on, that was a side pick and roll that created that. There's side pick and roll actions. The layup that LeBron missed against Jokic, that was off of a side pick and roll action. Austin had a play where he set up AD for a wide open jumper at the free throw line that he missed. Side pick and roll created that too. So it's like we ran it. There's like 9 plays I think I was tracking. And of 9 of those plays, 5 of them were side pick and roll actions or a version of pick and roll. And then 4 of them were just true ISOs that we ran. And my thing is that I try to think about why we continue to do that, right? Because I think one of the things that people have been doing is they're saying, well, Ham should have just called a timeout and then gotten them kind of said, no, we're going to go back to AD. We're going to keep running things through AD, even though Aaron Gordon's on him. And I tried to come up with some logic in the back of my mind to figure out why they didn't do that, like why he didn't force the issue. And I think the Lakers thought, and this is maybe this is just me trying to make an excuse for myself or make an excuse for the staff. I think the Lakers were confident that Bron having that one-on-one matchup against KCP would yield up points. I think that was like one of those things where it's like, hey, we finally got a guy who's forcing them to have to switch one of their better defenders onto him in Anthony Davis. And now LeBron is the guy. Now it's Bron's turn to take advantage of what the defense is doing. And I mean, I would say to some degree he did, because he did find some open shooters at times, but it was such a drastic change, Raj. Like because we went from ball movement to just stand around and wait until Bron passes you the ball, that I'm not shocked that they bricked everything, And the thing I want to talk about is that I don't care about freelance. I don't care about organized. When we make that change, that is a painful change to make in like the right smack dab in the middle of the quarter when you have guys that are expecting to play a certain way. What do you think about that idea? Do you think that can work? Do you think it works?
So I think it does. So obviously I think it worked kind of in the fourth quarter to an extent. I thought LeBron got downhill a little bit more, and look, the shots he made were tough. 2 of them were threes, right? Another one was an and one. I also think maybe I actually, coming into this series, Vinay, I thought KCP on LeBron is a mismatch. Yeah. But for different reasons, I guess. So I think KCP is not a guy you go at off the bounce. Like, he might be the best chasing guard defender in the league. Like, I think that's just what KCP does. He might be the best just on ball perimeter defender in the league. But I think LeBron in the post, like, that's an absolute mismatch against KCP. And I think that's a style that we do like. And like, I think just to clear something up, me and you would love if they ran a lot of organized offense. I think I think both of us have really asked for that. Like, we've really wanted them to do that, but we just see the results a lot of times is that we do go mismatch hunting. We do like to isolate, even for Rui, right? When we call plays for Rui, let's clear a side for him to like go work. And I think that also works for our, like, you got to kind of run stuff for your personnel in a sense. But I would love to like go at KCP more down on the block. I also think like Denver, it's kind of like, what do you live with? What can we expect? And LeBron going at KCP is something where they can kind of know the result of the play. Like, even if they can't stop it, right? They can kind of organize their defense into a scheme that, like, okay, this is what we give up when this happens, right?
Yeah.
If Rui's in the corner, we're going to just make LeBron hit this skip to Rui every time and just dare him. Like, let's see, can you hit a shot on the road in Denver? Can you make a shot? D'Lo, let's prove that you can hit these shots, Austin. So I think it can work. And like, I was promoting this style going into this series. I like LeBron attacking Jamal Murray. I like him going at KCP. I honestly think Austin should get more just on ball possessions in the way that Denver defends their ball screens. I wish we went to that well a little bit more. I think there was too much Gabe Vincent and Dinwiddie minutes even in, and Austin playing 32 minutes to me was like a real miss. I understand his legs are maybe fried from Jamal Murray, but I kind of go down with the guards that got me here. So no, I think I think the tough part, and again, like, everyone's jumped on Ham, and I get it. Like, it's a very I guess plausible way to go about it. There's dates. Phil Handy's on the bench over there. Chris Jen's on the bench over there. LeBron's on the floor. 80's on the floor. Hopefully all these guys are communicating in a sense, like to where you can, stop things in real time. A lead goes
Yeah.
from 20 to 15 to 10. There's got to be a fire alarm pulled, and maybe 80's third or fourth foul of an A kind of changed the rhythm that this game was going in as well.
Yeah.
So an 80 came back in. I'm not saying he was tentative, but there was a level of I can't pick up my fifth this early. So some of that kind of changed the rhythm of it as well. And look, man, like you put the ball in LeBron's hands, you're up 10, you're up 8, fourth quarter. We were up 8, Vinay, with 5.5 minutes left. LeBron and AD on the floor. If your stars can't take you home there, like I don't know, you don't deserve to win. I guess it's hard for me to jump on Austin or jump on Rui in these cases. Like this is go time, and Jamal was just better. I understand that, but yeah, like I think we're gonna continue to go to that well. I think there's stuff we found in this game that we can really kind of take into game 2. But
Yes,
I like LeBron going at Jamal, like forcing them to blitz. I just don't think KCP is a guy you go at off the bounce. I think it's more of a guy you go at through the post. And maybe that's something we can switch in the game 2. But the Lakers went with that. They put AD in the corner, had him stand there, and he was not involved. He got the touch, I think, late fourth, tried to take a leading shot, tried to draw a foul, didn't get the call. He was out of rhythm. I think he took like 1 or 2 shots in the fourth quarter. Did not score in the fourth, if I have that right. Or did he have 1 basket? I don't remember. But yeah, but LeBron threw haymakers, man. Like most teams die on those type of haymakers, and Denver fought to live. But where are you at with that? Like in terms of how our fourth quarter offense kind of died.
Yeah, so like one of the things that's been kind of concerning me is that there's this I don't think there's anybody telling Ham, or there's nobody being the adult in the room and basically saying, hey, these LeBron ISOs are not working out the way that we want them to work out. Like it's not resulting in a good look sometimes. So it's just like, so I'm trying to think in the back of my mind. So like I remember 2 plays specifically. Braun gets ISO'd against Christian Braun. I think one was at the start of the fourth when he was playing against like their bench unit again. And he goes to the rim. It's an ISO. He gets a little bit of help Braun gets a little bit of help at the rim. Braun misses a layup. LeBron misses a layup. Almost that same exact play happens in like the second quarter too as well. It's almost the same exact setup, everything, the alignment of the defense and all that sort of stuff. And he struggles. Then we get the play where Braun is posting up KCP in the fourth quarter, and he's like kind of in the middle of the paint, but he's holding the ball for so long with his dribble that it's like you can literally see like Denver defenders being like, okay, 5, 4, like you're watching the shot clock and you're like, he's got to shoot it at some point. 3, 2, 1, and then I think KCP, it might have been a foul, but Braun gets stripped. That ends up being a shot clock violation, turnover. Like there's another one where he was posting up Jamal Murray and he kind of lost it, and I thought they were going to call it travel, but he gets to pick it back up and he throws it to a teammate or something like that. Like there was just a lot of that stuff kind of happening, and my concern is that if the pace, the speed that he's playing at when we're in the half court, and it's not something where like he's running down in transition, or it's like an organized set, like towards the end to end the game. One of the layups that we got was an organized set that he ran to get us the layup to get the lead before they tied it. It was the play right before the 3-pointer that he attempted. And so I thought that was like good because you were getting him on the run, very deliberate action. He's not trying to beat them with the first step, which I think was a little rough for him, against a guy like KCP. So like my thing is like, you do that. I think he needs that more if you're going to try to get him going. There might be times where like setting up the isolation in the post or whatever it may be, like that's really important, but he's not winning those. Like last night, he didn't win those. And I don't want to say like it hurt the Lakers, but I certainly don't know if and I don't know if it helped us. And I thought it's just you're eating clock. This kind of goes in the direction of like this thing that the Lakers have been doing, which is like very annoying. They play a prevent offense sometimes, Raj, where they're just trying to run the clock, and it's really, really annoying to watch because it's like you don't have to do this. Just play basketball. Just play normal basketball and just keep trying to score and whatnot. And they just don't do it. That carried over, I think, into the fourth quarter a little bit because we were trying to manage the possessions and whatnot. What do you think about that? What do you think about like that like timidness of
Yeah.
offense? I call it prevent offense. That's the only thing I can think of. But what do you think about that?
So yeah, I remember during the, I think it was in the third, we did the Dennis Schroeder where we kind of rolled the ball up and try to, run clock. And it's like third quarter up 12 or whatever. I remember at the time I was just, no, like I don't, I don't like this mentality. Like I don't, it's way too early to be trying to run to try to run clock. So no, I understand. I think we do kind of get into that mode as well. I also, Vinay, just think playoff games kind of devolve into this. We have this like we have kind of short term or long term, whatever it is, memory loss in terms of
Yeah,
every year the regular season happens. Some teams drop 130, and then the playoffs come, and you get these really low scoring games, right? I think Dallas and the Clippers are going right now. I don't think any team has touched like 95 or whatever it
yeah,
is. These are two high powered offensive teams. It's just how can you execute in the half court is extremely important. It's why these players that are specialists really get kicked to the side in playoff moments, right? It's because you have to be able to you have to be able to attack a closeout. You have to be able to get to the rim. You have to also be able to hit a three with a guy contesting close. So I think the playoffs kind of devolve into this, and it's why like even Boston late games will just devolve into Jason Tatum step back jump shots and
yeah.
Jaylen Brown step back jump shots. And Boston runs a very pretty offense. A lot of really cool stuff that they do all year. Late games, it's clear out for one guy to attack their man one-on-one, right? Basketball gets simpler as the game gets tighter. It's a weird kind of phenomenon that kind of happens. Teams don't really go into complex stuff when the game is on the line. But I just think like, look, I understand LeBron didn't really like he got tough shots in the fourth quarter. I just think this is a matchup where our stars, like that's how they're gonna have to create offense. I think Aaron Gordon is too good as an isolation defender. And I think like throwing him on AD as well, that's a tough place for them to kind of go get buckets in a just one-on-one matchup type of stuff. So I think they're gonna have to use screens, they're gonna have to use creative stuff to get going. But man, scoring 40 points in the second half
That's bad.
after
Yeah,
60 something in the first, it's really rough. And like Rui was really bad, and I don't know how like you manage that going forward. He's had a really rough first two games. I thought Austin was okay. I think that's a guy that needs more ball handling. You got your 7-3 game from D'Lo and you lost it. Like it's a tough place to be. But like we said, how many times, Vinay, have we said like AD needs to be involved? Like how many times?
yeah,
Like how many podcasts, how many shows, how many post game thoughts, how many tweets have we said AD needs more shots? It's a reoccurring theme that has just not stopped. And so I know people have a person they blame. Everyone has their finger they point at and want to give the full pie to. I don't really know. It's just something that needs to be solved. And Denver switching Aaron Gordon on him, awesome. Like that shouldn't take away Anthony Davis. Like that like just schematically. Or if that does, then we have other shoes. But I would like to
yeah,
see AD go from 14 for 15 to 14 for 21. Like show me that he went cold. I don't know if he went
yeah,
cold. I have
yeah,
no idea. I have no clue if he went cold. He didn't get the basketball. And some of that's on him, some of that's on the coach, some of that's on LeBron. There's enough pie to go around. As we say. But yeah, it's rough, man. I don't know. There's a mental there's a mental aspect of this as well. We can get to later going into game 3 after that, demoralizing loss like that. But just from the basketball sense, you blew a 20-point lead in 20 minutes, basically. You blew a 20-point lead in 20 minutes.
yeah,
That's very almost impressive. Like it's
yeah.
it's rough. So I don't
Yeah,
know, man.
and I was gonna say like it felt like it kind of reflected in AD's defense too as well. Like he was just basically coming down the floor, getting ISO'd against Jokic deep in the post, and just getting overwhelmed. Then he wouldn't get a chance to score on the way back or participate in the offense on the way back. I thought that was really difficult for him too as well. But I'm with you, dude. Like I think like part of like all of this sort of stuff that has gone on. I don't know who you like blame or if blame is like the right word to describe what this is supposed to be. Like, do you like people are going to say that Ham should have done this or Ham should have done that, and like other people will be like, well, LeBron is LeBron, like so you shouldn't need Ham to tell you that hey, go get Anthony Davis and keep him involved in the game and whatnot. And so like that's the thing that like that's the thing that I'm trying to figure out. Like I'm not trying to figure it. Sorry, I'm phrasing it wrong. I'm not trying to figure it out. I'm trying to figure out like who objectively. When I look at this situation, we know that Bron is the floor general. We know that he gives input in the film room. We know he gives input in the huddles. He gives all kinds of input. It's not new. It's none of that is new. And he does direct the offense for portions of the game. And the part that's difficult for me is I can't like everybody's like, well, Ham didn't do something. I feel like he probably also sees the same thing Ham is seeing. And if we think LeBron, we make the jokes that or people make the jokes that Bron is the real coach of the team, he's the real GM of the team. If you believe that, if you believe Bron has a higher IQ than our coach or our coaching staff, and he is a brilliant player, he's a very smart player. My thing is like, if you believe that kind of stuff, then like you're also essentially saying that not only did Ham not see it coming or do anything about it or make the adjustment, LeBron didn't either. Like you can't pretend that like Bron is like this like innocent child that's just doing whatever he's told. Like he knows what he's doing. And so sometimes like when I see them go into mismatch hunting or I see him try to do stuff to get the offense going in a different direction, whether it's successful or unsuccessful, or I think sometimes when he's not calling AD to come throw those screens, there's a reason he's doing that. Like maybe he doesn't want to bring Aaron Gordon over. Maybe he doesn't want to bring Jokic over because he thinks Jokic is going to play drop against him or, XYZ, that sort of thing. And so it's like, I'm not looking for who to blame. I'm trying to figure it out in my mind. Who's making the decision here to do this? And I know there's a part of this also where people have said that, like AD's not commanding the ball. Like, I don't think AD wants to go and stand in the corner. I really don't. I don't think there's anything about him that even thinks that him standing in the corner is being useful on offense. Like at the worst, if he doesn't want to participate in the offense, he's probably going to go stand in the dunker spot, right? Or maybe
is that him being too passive though? Is there an element of that? Is there an element of passivity that we kind of overlook? And again, like he was incredible this game. It's hard to just pinpoint on him. Yeah. I mean, he was a minus 15 in the fourth quarter. He was 2 for 8, I think, in the second half. I can praise your first half. If I can put you on the highest pedal in the first half, I'm allowed to also criticize the second half fairly. Like if I can put two halves together, right? And again, it's like you said, I'm not looking to place blame anywhere. Like I don't get much out of that. I think trying to fill logic into situations where both of us and most fans and a lot of smart people who cover this team are confused, right? And it's very easy just like, what the hell was that? And then just move on. But I think you look at it, okay, what were they looking for there? What was the point of that? I agree with you. AD probably doesn't want to go stand in the corner. He knows he's pretty unhelpful there unless he's shooting threes. But aside of this, to me, Vinay, we're like, there's got to be some conversation like, hey, I got it going. I haven't missed. Let's try me for one possession. Let's move this around. And sometimes you get lost in the game, and Denver has a way of walking you down where you're staring, deja vu in its face kind of thing. Where like you've seen this movie a million times, and there's a mental human aspect of this. I just wonder if that's a part of this as well. And I'm not in the coaching realm. I've never, coached or been around that. I don't know how these conversations go, but I'm assuming there's a little, even if you think LeBron hates Darvin Ham, which like I can understand if you land on that plane, like I get it. Like I understand. But I mean, I also think LeBron's not trying to lose game 2 of a series that he thinks the team has a shot in, which I think he does. So I go with that as well. But no, man, I agree with you. I interrupted you, but I was just saying, like, I think part of this is also, I wonder if it's like AD's passivity in this, which we've discussed for a very long time.
Yeah. And it's so like that's the part that like when they go back home, they're gonna have a day, right? So tomorrow they're probably gonna have a film session tomorrow, maybe do a walkthrough and practice or whatever it's going to be. Like that film session, I I mean, that's a film session. I would love to be the person who's sitting like in like a fly on the wall in that film session, because I'd love to know if anybody asks LeBron like what like, or if there's a discussion about including AD in the offense and for, throughout the rest of the game. Um, Rogers, they didn't even like it wasn't even like they used him as a
Okay.
screener for a couple of those actions. Go ahead.
Well, I just want to ask you because I think the whole point of that, and I just want to know if you agree with, I guess, the
Yeah,
sentiment of it. I think the sentiment is just to hunt Jokic, is to put Jokic in any action that
yeah.
exists, right? And so whoever Jokic is guarding, bring him up to screen. Do you at least agree with that being the approach? Like should that be the approach? I guess
Ah,
overruling going and giving AD touches. I guess like Aaron Gordon is the probably best defender on
yeah,
the Nuggets starting five. You kind of take him out of the play in a sense, right? You kind of Aaron Gordon still comes over and is incredible help side and getting offensive rebounds, but just in terms of that approach, are you able to kind of give grace in terms of LeBron? That's what I think the team and the coaching staff and what the whole team kind of settle on was, all right, we're gonna go at Jokic every time. And I think they
yeah.
overextended that, but at least can you see it from that perspective?
Yeah, so I thought that was a good plan until they made that switch. And then I think what happened is I think what it should have been is, hey, we still want to attack Jokic, but if he's gonna stand all the way in the paint in this this boxes and elbows zone that they're playing, this little base zone that they're playing, then we have to try and hurt them another way. And that way should have been to put the shooter in his corner and set up whoever that's it is like D'Lo or something like that. Set up the shooter in that corner. It was Rui in the example. I remember a play where Braun drove and he kicked it to Rui. Like if you want to stick with attacking Jokic, then you have to do it the same way teams do it to us when Anthony Davis is playing drop coverage. Oh, Anthony Davis is playing drop coverage. Now we're going to run a bunch of DHO on at the top of the 3-point line because we know he doesn't want to come all the way out to defend it. And that I don't disagree with attacking him. I don't disagree with attacking Jokic. I think that playing the game of attrition, attacking him, like making him have to expend energy on both ends. I think that's a solid strategy. He's also got to make a business decision. Is he going to try and block every AD shot, or is he going to come out to guard AD every single time? Like AD was feasting on any time that he didn't want to move his feet. So I think that's a really, really smart thing to do. But when it's not readily available, if it's not easy to pick on him, I think that's when you have to start thinking about, hey, is this the right method? Like, is this the right thing that we're trying to do here? Like, I didn't see us run any of those, like those clear out, clear out Braun post ups where like it's just D'Lo throwing him the entry pass and then Braun just gets the post up for like the entire possession. And if they come to double, Braun kicks it out to D'Lo. Like I thought that would have been like a counter. Like that would have been like, oh, okay, we're gonna run this because we know Braun
Attack him in the post.
yeah,
Yeah.
attack him in the post. And we didn't run that. And we didn't even run the version that we like to run in the regular season, which was give it to D'Lo and have him throw the entry pass because he's really, really good off that catch and shoot when Braun sends it back out to him. Or even Austin. Austin does a really good job too as well. And so that was my point. Like we just did strictly Braun face up basketball against KCP plus four guys with their feet in the paint, behind him. And that's what I couldn't figure out. Like, do I blame Ham for that? Did Braun prefer to attack KCP face up? He didn't want to go in the post. Like Braun's legs were kind of tired. You could tell he was gassed. Maybe he didn't have the capacity to post. So it's just like, it's just stuff like that. It's very, very, I don't know what to say, but I thought the idea or the plan was, I thought it was good. I thought it was super smart. It was just the execution wasn't there.
I think part of this as well was I think in that fourth quarter we played a lot of Gabe and played a lot of Dinwiddie, right? So D'Lo and Austin really didn't get into late fourth, and that puts a lot of pressure on LeBron to be the only ball handler because those dudes just could not put pressure on the rim. So we kind of spaced out the floor, trying to give him space. And I think Denver, again, is very disciplined. You talk about the clear out. They're not just going to let LeBron spin into the lane by himself. They're going to, Jokic, that's one of the things he does really well. And again, they're playing off Rui. Rui's baseline cuts, Vinay, are all scouted. All those slot cuts, that's all scouted. You're not getting anything easy, right? Rui's not getting like he was dunking a lot in the regular season. People killed him for his missed dunks. His dunks are just half more contested now, so like they're kind of, and Rui doesn't get up very high. I have a stat that I want to kind of push back at you. I think this is
Yeah.
something interesting that kind of compares both of these teams, and it kind of goes into this as well. Our starters, Vinay, played 17 minutes in that game together. Denver starters played 28 minutes together. Like that's another thing that I would just love to like keep our best unit out there as much as, especially when D'Lo's playing well. It just confuses me why D'Lo was hot. We didn't even talk about this in the first quarter, and then he got pulled 6 minutes
Yeah.
into the game. A very
Yeah.
just perplexing
Early pull,
sub. Yeah, I don't understand that either. But yeah, like I think this is a series where it's starting to dwindle down in terms of rotation. Denver's sticking to 8-man rotation. They played the guy you mentioned earlier. He was the one guy kind of that extended the rotation. But other than that, they play an 8-man. I think we have to go to that. I know I think we spoke about Christian Wood and Vando maybe coming back, but
Yeah.
I think this is a series that you stick to your guys. And I know Rui didn't play well. Three points in 38 minutes is very tough from a starter.
Yeah.
Austin I think was 4 for 9. Again, just not involved very much, but yeah, Denver's very good, and they're going to counter you. If you go up, they're going to counter in some way. Their coaching staff is very good, but it sucks that we continue to pound our head through a wall that did not come down very many times. It was just pounding your head through a brick wall. So hopefully we have some adjustments in game 2.
Yeah, the Vando Christian Wood thing is kind of interesting because I could see a version like I obviously we don't know what sort of position, what health or conditioning that they're going to be in, but it could. And like I certainly could see a situation where they help those non 80 minutes where because Jackson Hayes is not really an offensive threat. Like I could see a version where we help out. Christian Wood helps out with that. If Rui doesn't have it going, Christian Wood can also help in that degree. He still has the same length and rebounding and all that sort of stuff. Obviously we don't know what his three ball looks like. Vando helps crash the glass. This is another game, Raj, where the Lakers had more turnovers than the other team. They didn't take care of the ball. The offensive rebounding margin was not that significant as game 1, but it was 5 extra offensive possessions. Like that's the difference between a single possession loss and a single possession win. So I thought they did well in the first half, and then I felt like in the second half they lost those 50-50 balls again. And I don't know what it is, Roger. Like I don't know what it is with our team and with their team. In the second half, it's just like it just feels like deja vu every single time. Like it's almost exactly the same time. Yeah, it's just every single time, exactly the same time. They catch a second win, and we're just like our energy is just going down in the wrong direction, and like everything falls apart for us. Like it's just the pace falls apart. When they were making their comeback initially, we were just like throwing the ball away. Like I think AD comes in off of a timeout. They run a play. I think there's a screen and roll play. AD doesn't really screen D'Lo's guy. D'Lo throws the alley oop to
lob.
AD, which just goes way over his head, not even close. So it's just like my thing was like, dude, like they were just kind of doing all kinds of crazy stuff, just throwing the ball away and stumbling all over the place. And like give credit to the Nuggets, maybe they increased the pace or they increased the physicality. I think I tweeted out that they're going to do that. They're going to play faster and they're going to be more physical to see if they can rattle the Lakers. And it worked in their favor in the end. But I'll be very curious. I'll do another thing. But I've talked to friends about it, and I'm not quite sure like what to make of it. Do you think the Lakers being gassed, specifically LeBron, because LeBron was noticeably tired in both games now. He's been tired before the fourth quarter even rolls around. And he had a heroic fourth quarter for sure this game too. Do you think that is as a result of where they're playing, or do you think that they'll have better legs when they come back to LA?
I mean, I don't know how much more fresh you can be. Like if LeBron and AD are tired in game 2 of the first round, we have a lot of bigger issues. So honestly, I guess LeBron was gassed, but Vinay, my thing is everyone is like, there's a level of intensity the playoffs get to where like everyone's tired at the end. Like everyone has their hands on their knees kind of thing, right? Trying to catch a second win. Nuggets are very good. I think the Nuggets, what they do, and I'm not saying their conditioning isn't great because it most likely is. They play in altitude as well. Not blaming that on
Yeah,
anything.
I don't
But
think that's the reason why we lost. I'm
no,
just curious because fatigue seems to be an issue for our two-star
for
guys
sure.
at
What
times.
the Nuggets fall like really comfortably in their execution, right? Their
Yeah,
execution is in a world where they can kind of run their actions in their sleep. Like they
yeah,
know what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like they could have their eyes closed and be in the right. Jokic could probably pass the ball to the right person. The Lakers don't really have those type of consistent actions. So when you have to kind of still maneuver or wonder what you're going to run against a team, it kind of creates more variance of what kind of results you get, right? The
yeah,
Nuggets were very clear. It was Jamal Murray, Jokic, two-man game
yeah,
down the stretch. And that's something honestly, and we can do this now. I don't know if we defended any of so the Nuggets hit, I think their last 7 shots, Vinay. I'm not sure we defended any of those poorly. Like
yeah,
and LeBron was punching back as well on the other end. It's just the MPJ 3, the Jamal Murray phantom foul,
yeah,
which whatever, we can debate that. But the 2 jump shots by Jamal, they got exactly what I remember. I asked you, I think LeBron needs to guard Jamal Murray. He
yeah,
did that for the last 5 minutes of the game or whatever. The last 3 minutes, we put
yeah,
LeBron on Murray, AD on Jokic, switched it the first time. Jamal got the LeBron matchup back, hit a jump over him, switched it the second time, and we know what happened there. But
yeah,
I think you defended well enough. It's just the offense can't die to the level
yeah.
it is. How much is that mental versus what's on the court? You know
The
what I mean? Like I
defense
think
or the
the
offense coming.
offense. I think like that.
Mm,
I think some of it's on the court, but also like there's something about when a team has you that when they're starting their run,
mm,
and it just, and again, these are things that are hard to quantify in numbers or it's just when I was watching it, I could just tell that everyone was shook. No one wanted, like D'Lo was cooking in the first half, six
yeah,
threes, beautiful, happy for him. It's very clear again in the second half. The game went to an intensity level, and the Nuggets started switching where he wasn't ready for that.
yeah,
I'm not sure what it is, but this is the second straight game where offense has died. First game 1 as well, we had an 18-point third quarter. Game 2 again, 20 points in the third, 20 points in the fourth. It's just there's a level of like I don't know. The game gets to a level of intensity that some of our guys just can't or don't reach that bar. But do you agree with that statement? I'm leaning more and more. This is a mental hurdle before you can even get to the basketball stuff.
yeah. I don't know if it's a mental hurdle or if it's you know what. There is there's a mental, not the hurdle is not the word I want to think of, but there's like a mental obstacle. No, obstacle is the same thing as hurdle. It's something that slows us down mentally. I can't think of what the word like. It's like a mental deceleration. When the game gets tight, our team starts to slow down, and I think that hurts us more because we stop playing with pace, we stop playing with purpose. The
Mm.
screens start getting weaker. They're not good quality
Screens
screens.
start turning into slips. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Stop screening.
The shots become like you can tell it's not like an in rhythm shot. Sometimes it's a little shaky when they're catching and shooting it. A couple guys, we've seen Austin Rui just kind of be emotionless, even D'Lo to some degree, and take some of those shots. Like it's very curious to see it happen. I'll tell you something even crazier that I did, Raj, today because I had the time to do it today. I actually went back to the last 2 times we beat them in the regular season to watch those games with LeBron and AD healthy because I wanted to see what we did in the third and fourth quarters because I think Denver's always played the same way. I don't think it's ever been anything different. And when I'm watching, so like the last time we played them, we had like Russ coming off the bench. I think Thomas Bryant started for AD in that game. And, Pat Beverly was still on the team. Dennis Schroeder was still on the team. And LeBron was still on the team. I'm watching that game. And I feel like, so when I'm watching that game, that entire fourth quarter, every single time Denver misses a shot, every single time, the Lakers are pushing the pace. Like it's Russ pushing the pace. It's Dennis Schroeder pushing the pace. It's like multiple LeBron is pushing the pace. Thomas Bryant is running like a damn freight train, like trying to be the first guy back on offense. Like there is a lot of pressure applied the other way. Like there's no,
Yeah.
oh, you scored at the rim, we're going to slow it down, pick our spots, that sort of thing. And both of those games I watched, that was the case. And I think there is something to that when that happens in the fourth quarter against this Denver team. I think the slower you play, the more difficult it gets to score on them. And I think that's probably true for teams that play big guys, like big physical teams, because they play Gordon, they play Jokic, they play, Murray's actually a big guard. He's not a small guard. And obviously MPJ is there too as well. You could argue that KCP is a pretty physical guard, big physical guard to himself. Like I watched the Minnesota game today, and it felt like when the Suns were trying to run all their actions and stuff like that to start the game, like Minnesota's size, because they were just they could see the actions being run, and it wasn't like a early transition opportunity. It was more like, bring it up, call the set, run the set, that sort of thing. Like the Suns are having trouble. Like the defenders were always in position to make all the shots more difficult, and I think that's what's happening with this team sometimes. And I think it's a mental hurdle. I think the way you're describing it is true. I would just add to that and just say like their brains are slowing down because they're getting scored on so quickly. Like the other thing that was happening in the game last night was like we would take like a full 24 seconds to get a shot off. They would score like in the first 6 seconds of the shot clock. Like they would waste no time. Obviously they're trying to catch up, but they would waste no time trying to score. They were not running clock. They were not playing the possession game. They're like, we're going to go right into our action. And we know that this is going to get us a decent quality look. The Lakers don't do that for some reason. We just completely stop playing a normal speed.
It's like you're not going to out execute Denver, I guess, right? It's like if you get into a possession by possession battle, right, where each possession's taking like 15 to 20 seconds on both sides, you're probably going to lose that game, right?
Yeah.
You probably need to beat them on the possession battle. You need to beat them on the field goal attempt battle. By the way, shout out my guy Walt is watching, and I love this metaphor that he used here, this comparison, like where you're taking a test and you're doing good, and you look up and you're like, oh shoot, there's 20 questions left still. Like I still haven't solved half the test. I feel like I'm doing well, so that's what I kind of noticed there. But yeah, with Denver, I think like the game's gonna slow down. They're gonna out execute you, and it's a tough battle to do. The playoffs kind of devolve into this slow fighting. It reminds me so much. We weren't good during this time, but it reminds me of the Warriors. Like people don't really compare the Warriors and the Nuggets because of Steph Curry and Jokic's kind of differences in how they go about it.
Yeah.
But to me, it's very similar. They're both unicorns in different ways. And you have to guard them almost like as different as any team in the league, right? Like there are teams who played through their centers. Jokic is a different animal, even in that realm. Like Sabonis is a guy people play through. Bam is a guy the Heat played through, right? There's some bigs that teams do this with. Jokic is just a unicorn in this sense. And it reminds me a lot of where you mess up once, you're dead. Like the prime Warriors were like this, where you don't switch the split screen in the correct time. It's a Clay open three, right?
Yeah.
And just morph Clay into a 6'11" guy.
Yeah,
who's coming off screens and Michael Porter Jr. Right? I don't have the KCP comp for the Warriors, but like it just and Jamal Murray, Steph, I guess in this situation, not comparing the players, but just their level of execution that they're able to run. It's just it reminds me a lot of that, and I don't know if we can get there. But I have no idea. It's just like again putting my optimistic glasses on, which like it's very easy for me to find those, but like when I look at it, it's you played well enough in these first 2 games to probably win. You had a team that's maybe the best team that's probably the best team in the league reeling on their home floor.
Yeah.
But the math is just not on your side. You have to win 4 or 5 to kind of get out of this series. But
yeah, it's improbable, not impossible.
Sure.
But I think you're right. Like they get into an execution battle. Like, you and I, in the last pod, when we talked about it, we got a question, I think, from the Discord or something like that, where somebody was asking, like, can the Lakers play with a level of focus that allows them to, like, win the game? And, like, that's why I wanted to name the live stream that, like, can we lock in for 48? Like, it feels like they haven't, like, they did it significantly more in this game, too. Like, they locked in for, I don't know, what's 30 minutes of the game, 30 of the 48 minutes of the game. But it's just like, we need you to lock in for like at least like 40 of those minutes. And then if we have a 20-point lead, you could probably run clock, or if, you got to do it for 43 minutes. And like, I really, really, Roger, I really, really do feel that's the issue. Like they get a lead and they put their foot on they like take the foot off the gas. The other team ratchets up their intensity because now they're getting into desperation mode. They know that time's running out. They need to score, and then we just kind of roll over, and we just let them catch up.
Yeah, I mean, is it us not being locked in, or does Denver like grab a key and unlock us? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I'm
fair,
not saying like you're wrong. Like, there's obviously points where the Lakers drop off, and I think it's
fair.
just a natural emotion by humans, right? When you have some type of comfort, whether it's basketball, whether it's in life, whether it's in any hardship that you're going through, you
Yeah,
get through a level of comfort, and even in game by game basis, it's just there's something about when Denver ratchets up their intensity. Like you used the word desperation, and I think you're spot on with that. I also think somehow Denver looks more calm when they're desperate. It's a very
mm,
strange attribute. Like I was so fascinated and I was so lost in what was going on. I was just watching Murray and Jokic, and it was almost like they pressed a button, right? Like they were
yeah,
down 20, and it was almost like they pressed some button, and they were like, "All right, you know what to do. You know what to do. No one else matters here. It's me and you versus everyone. This arena's empty, right? No one can. It's me and you. The Lakers aren't even on the floor here. That's what it felt like to me. I knew every Jamal Murray shot was going in. Um, as sad as that was. So yeah, like I agree with they need to lock in. There's also a level that like there's a head on the other snake too, and like there's a brain on the other snake too, where you not only have to lock in yourself, but stop the other team from doing what they want to do. And it's a huge challenge. I saw enough, Vinay, and people are like asking me, don't you think like you didn't come out of this thinking Denver's better? And I said, yeah, Denver's better. I don't come out of
for
this
sure.
thinking
Yeah,
like Denver's the 2017 Warriors and we're the Portland Trailblazers,
right.
like when
Yeah,
those two
yeah,
plays. Like I don't come out of this series feeling that way. But yeah, take that where you want to go. I feel like Denver also deserves the credit here for continuing to do this and just making time after time. But
yeah,
hey, that game winner didn't even touch the net. I don't know if you saw like
yeah. I
the Jamal
unfortunately
Murray,
watched it more than once. Yeah,
it just went right
yeah.
in. So I
But
don't know.
the crazy part is that he was, yeah, Murray kind of started heating up a little bit in the fourth quarter. I think against the bench group that was on the floor, and then it kind of carried into the rest of the fourth quarter. But like Denver went right to their 2 man game when it was like the last 5 minutes of the game or whatever, and it
Every
was like a
time.
tight. They just said, you know what, we don't care what Murray's like. Murray was like 3 for 16 or something like that through 3 quarters. And
Doesn't
they were like,
matter.
no, yeah, we're just going to run this. This is what we run at the end of every game. We'll live and die with it. And they end up being successful at the end of it, obviously because of the game winner. But I'm kind of with you. I don't know. Like, there's a lot of like random stuff that had to happen for this win. And then the Lakers controlled a lot of it. The turnovers was part of it. You get a play where Braun steals the ball late in the game, dunks it, Jokic throws a terrible pass, which Austin Reeves gets into a jump ball against Aaron Gordon with falling out of bounds. Aaron Gordon somehow finds MPJ, who's completely unguarded. MPJ is like looking back to make sure he doesn't get blocked from behind, pulls up, makes a three to tie the game. Like there was just like a very crazy sequence of like basketball that kind of happened to some degree also that led to it. And that's kind of what the night was because I don't know if you watched the end of that Knicks Philly game at the end of it. Like they had a crazy,
Mhm.
ridiculous end to that game too as well. Um, we didn't even talk about the marginal contact call that got overturned. Not that that has anything to do. Lakers lost on their own terms. Like it has nothing to do with the refs. But it's just like there's like so many bizarre things that had to happen for us to reach this point. Um, the foul call, like the super fast foul call on the Murray drive when he was
Yeah.
driving by LeBron, like after they had just been letting both teams assault each other like the whole time. Like I was like, I don't. There's a lot of bizarre stuff, but
You
I
think
don't
that would
think
have
the
been
gap is there.
overturned on a challenge? Do you think like that LeBron? I don't think so. I People are killing Ham for not challenging, and
Yeah,
like I get it. Like you obviously you don't get to take those two challenges to the bank.
yeah,
I think his thinking was we had two timeouts left in a tie game, right?
yeah. I
So
think that's
like
what people
trying
were
to
saying. Just risk it. Yeah.
yeah, keep the timeouts. I don't think that's I don't think that's getting reversed. Do you?
So I mean, if the argument is we weren't going to use the timeouts anyways, or like the point in the game you did, keeping the timeouts not that valuable, then I agree with everybody that says that he should have just challenged it just to see if that's the case. Other thing is like Braun didn't. I don't think Braun turned and looked at him and said, "Hey, challenge this call." Like I really didn't touch him or anything like that. Like I think sometimes they try to do that. Maybe nobody on the bench told him, "Hey, it's a pretty marginal call. Make that call." The other thing also is I also couldn't. They didn't. I don't think they showed us the angle from the front side where they were saying Braun put his hand on Murray and pushed him. I could only see the backside, which didn't look like it was much.
It's hard to know, right? Like from camera angle, you won't know if LeBron shoved him or if Jamal flopped. Like, there's no way to analyze that, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, LeBron could have his elbow on him, but I mean his arm on him. So I didn't think it would be reversed. I understand people saying you just have to. Michelle in the chat saying you have to try. Like, I understand that. I'm not mad.
Yeah. I think that's definitely something that was in Ham's control. Did you have issues with the lineups in this game?
I had issues with just the consistent subbing every time. Like, I think our starters, Vinay, in 2 games are just in total a +2. Just in total, they just have not played as much. And look, there's some foul trouble reasonings. Number one, I don't think you need both Gabe and Dinwiddie. Like, I think you need to pick one. Okay. I think we tried and prayed and hoped and looked and searched for offense from one of those two. And I think Ham's trying to do that by playing both of them and like playing roulette, and seeing like, hey, maybe one lands on whatever on green. Like one of them is hot this day. I just don't think it's happening. I don't think either of them are going to get their offense cooking in this series. Just pick one, whoever you think has the best chance of guarding Jamal Murray for a few minutes. Yeah. Pick one of those guards and go with it. The 4 guard lineups, those things I think you have to throw out. Torian at power forward or whatever. Just especially when Jokic is on the floor, Vinay. Those are things that I think you just low hanging fruit that you can grab in this series. So those are my issues with it. Like, again, my biggest issue to me was Austin playing 32 minutes at maybe his legs wasn't there. I don't know if you know.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, if he's trying to preserve them, he doesn't want to overtax them 2 games in a row.
I mean, I guess this is the play. Like, you're down 0-1 and you needed to win. Like, this was not the time to get cute. Yeah. You know, like, this is not the time to like buy a guy a minute here. If you won game 1, then go ahead, mess around, see what you can do, see what you can rest. You have 2 days off after this. You had 2 days off after that game. I would have went for it. I would have like died with my starters out there. Not died, but like went down with my starters out there. With the ship. Those are my concerns. How about you? Any big concerns with the lineups in that one?
Yeah, my concern with the lineups, that bench lineup, it's only for a few minutes that we run, but the one that has Braun basically being like the center of attention, and we run like the spaced out lineup for him. That lineup hasn't been winning minutes. Like, that is a lineup that doesn't have Jokic on the floor. It's like Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon's at the 5. That lineup, it's Braun. That is a lineup that the Lakers should be winning minutes, like adding to a lead. And the Lakers are not winning those minutes. Those minutes are getting stalemated, or like in some cases, it's like a -1. And it's just a 2, 3, 4 minute segment at times until AD ends up coming back in the game. But those minutes, we've seen 10-point leads get built in 2 minutes. And my thing is, if Ham is looking at the data, we don't know if he is or not, but if you're looking at those minutes, like, there's got to be something better there. Like, there's no way that a lineup. I don't want to say no way because that's disrespecting the Denver players, but it's hard for me to believe that a lineup of Jamal, Justin Holiday, Christian Braun, Peyton Watson, Aaron Gordon, 2 of those guys are non-shooters. Christian Braun is kind of a 3-and-D guy in that role. Jamal Murray is pretty clearly the shooter that's on that. Justin Holiday just got thrown in there, I think, because so I don't think he's been a normal mainstay in that position. Like, that lineup shouldn't be a lineup that gives LeBron trouble the way that it has, or it shouldn't be like a LeBron mismatch hunting lineup that we run. That shouldn't be giving it trouble. And I don't know what's happening, or if maybe Braun is gassed or what it is, but the lineup that we're typically running against them is the 4 guys are typically Braun, D'Lo, Torian, and Jackson Hayes. And then usually the 5th player is whoever Ham feels like playing. We're not winning those minutes, like, by any significant margin. And I feel like both of these games, like, those are those minutes, like, oh, this lineup is going to win these minutes. They're going to add to the lead. They're going to cut into the deficit, whatever it's going to be. they're going to give us a little bit more cushion because we just have the best player on the floor, maybe the best two players on the floor to some degree. So it's like that is my concern. It's not a lineup concern; it's a production out of this lineup concern. Like I don't know what's going on here. Who's running the offense that's causing the issue, or the players that are on there that are causing the issue, or what it is. But like we have to win those minutes. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's tough. And shout out, I guess there's a Trailblazers fan who got mad at my Trailblazer reference there, but I called the Trailblazers in 2017 weren't a serious team against the KD Warriors. But no, I think you're right. I think the lineups have to be kind of maximized. And honestly, I've liked our like lineups that matched up against the non-Jokic minutes. I think we've done actually okay there. I just think like Ham's going with too many guys. I think there's 9, 10 in the rotation. It worries me the Wood and Vando situation where Christian Wood is slated to be healthy in game 3, which I don't understand putting that out if like Wood just doesn't play. There's a world where Ham just doesn't play him and it looks kind of worse. Vando, I'm not sure. Vando one day is shooting threes and another day he's on a boot. It's just very confusing information that comes out with him. But yeah, man, it's do or die on Thursday. We'll see how that goes, and hopefully when we speak next we're 2-1 and have an opportunity to extend our season. But not you're looking at a very quick summer. So
I think you've been saying every single time game 1 is game 7, game 2 is game 7. Well, I will say
this is game 8.
Game 3 is definitely game 7. Like you win this game, like you have to keep building on what's been successful, and if you win, you should win game 3. There should be like no confusion at all about it. It should not be a close game. If you go and do what you're supposed to do, what you're capable of course, Denver's going to make adjustments. I don't think they're going to let Jokic go live on an island like that again. But they should. I would have shocked me if they put Jokic on Rui to start the game too at that. But like Rui has to knock down shots. He's at home. We expect the role players at home to knock down their shots compared to being on the road. Not in the altitude if that's fatiguing them. Like game 3 is game 7. Like the Lakers cannot mess that up. And they cannot do that thing where they're like, hey, we're going to play prevent offense and we're going to let a 15-point lead turn into like a 6-point lead, but we're okay. We're happy because we didn't have to try too hard to get to it. No, it has to be double digit. Like you've got to win this game. And if Denver's playing really well and we have to eke out a win, then so be it. They're a championship caliber team. But there's zero reason for the Lakers to not approach that game with 48 minutes of focus. Like that, honestly, like that there's no other reason for that. So I mean, that's really my thing. Like we didn't really get into adjustments and stuff like that. We'll see what happens with the Vando and Wood thing, but it's just like Raj, maybe the adjustments are minor adjustments here and there. And I think Braun is going to see the stuff on film and he'll make the adjustments for when he runs the offense. But for me, the number one adjustment is play basketball for 48 minutes. Stop playing basketball the moment until you get a 20-point lead, and then stop playing Lakers basketball. Play Lakers basketball for 48 minutes the way we know that you can, that we watch you do in the regular season, and you can finally break whatever this losing streak is to it. That's everything that I have for that game 3.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's also a part of this is also not just offense, is you got to box out Aaron Gordon every time.
Yes.
And it's easy for us to say here, I understand, but you got to box out Jokic every time. That's a physical battle that, it's tough to like look at the opponent in the ring and see two physically monstrous dudes and be like, I gotta go and fight them every single possession.
Yeah.
Yes. Like that's the ask. Like that's the call. It just is. LeBron and AD have to box out every time. Rui needs to box out. D'Lo and Austin need to help sandwich rebound. Like all these things are very important in beating Denver. It's a tall task, man. These are the defending champs, best player in the world as well, in his prime, at the top of the mountain, run on his throne, no pun intended. Like it's just it's a tall task, but it starts Thursday, man. Let's get a win. Let's get that monkey off our back that's turned into like a huge monkey now, that's just continuing to grow and eat and just like just live on our back. Let's get that 10-game losing streak off, and we can kind of settle in from there with this series. But that's all I have, man.
They've got a formula for success, man. They just need to execute it for all 48 minutes, not the partial games that they have. Well, folks, I think that's probably going to be everything that we have for tonight's pod. Hopefully the Lakers lock it in, and on Thursday, there's no game tomorrow, so don't wake up tomorrow with your mind fully engaged, thinking that you're going to have to watch the Lakers tomorrow on Wednesday. You're not going to do that. I'm sure Rod is going to do his regular Lakers don't play tweet tomorrow to remind everybody in the morning.
We'll enjoy that.
But as always, we appreciate all the folks that joined us on the pod. If you joined us late, you can always replay it on Twitter, or you will see it on your Apple and Spotify feeds if you join Lakers Detailed, and follow us there. But as always, we appreciate everybody, Blazers fans, Laker fans, any sort of fans. Of course, we love all the fans, even within the fan base that don't necessarily agree with some of the stuff that me and Raj have to say, mainly me, but, with what we have to say. But we always appreciate it because, if there's anything, we just want the Lakers win. So whether you're listening to this, fully live, or you're listening to this during the day, we hope you have a wonderful day. And if nothing else, we'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.